父母们，就是女士们、女士们，上午好，我要说晚上好，因为很长时间说晚上好，上午好。我叫张出华，我是升学指导部的经理，我也是一个升学指导一个老师。今天我们聊天的话题是我们刚刚毕业的学生，他们申请读书的结果。我觉得为你们来说，这个话题是非常重要的，因为你们问自己，如果我让我的孩子们从现在到他们毕业在惠灵顿学习的话，他们就可以受到什么读书的机会。所以今天我想试一试回答这个很重要的问题。后来我用英文告诉你我的想法，我也问我的学生们用英文问他们这些很重要的问题。但是如果你听不懂我的英文，我说抱歉，我觉得很多人现在听不懂我的中文，对不对？ So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Josh Beard, and I am the Director of Higher Education and Careers here at Wellington College International Shanghai. It is my absolute pleasure to have you here today to hear about what we're going to talk about and what we're going to hear about from the pupils that you're going to see. Shouldn't call them pupils anymore. Now they're just young adults. They are going to tell you about some of their experiences that you're really going to want to hear about in terms of how they have had the great success that they've had. And I really want you to hear from them. Some of the things that I'll be asking them are things that I know about them that I want to give them a chance to brag on themselves and to talk about their success that maybe you don't know about. And then there will also be a set of questions that I have curated from you, asking some questions that you said were very important to you. So you'll hear a mix of questions that I've prepared and you, the parents, have also proposed. So I hope those answers will be very useful for you. But the central question that I think you're here, if you're here, the central question I think you're trying to answer today, or at least trying to get a little piece of the answer today, is if I stay at Wellington, if my family stays, if my child stays at Wellington until graduation or for several more years or whatever it may be, what's going to be the result of that? What can I expect or hope will be the opportunities that their involvement, their study at Wellington will generate for them? And that is a perfectly legitimate, valid, important question. I understand it very well. I am a parent myself. My son is 3 years old, so he's a little bit behind on the university application process. We're going to catch him up this summer. But for many of you, your kids are much closer than my son, and so I want to try today to try and help you get some answers for some of the things that may be on your mind, and also to try and reassure you that we have a great team here, a great program here to prepare your children for this very challenging but also very rewarding process. So, I want to show you what we're going to talk about today. First thing is I'm going to introduce you to the team that we have here, because many of you may not be familiar with who we are. Our work is a little bit separated from the general life of the school, and we mostly work with kids in the senior school. So if your child is not in the senior school, you may not recognize us, but you will in just a few minutes. And then I want to talk briefly about the program that we have here at Wellington, Shanghai, and show you what we do to get the pupils ready to do their applications. I want to talk briefly about what the universities are looking for, because whether your child is in year 3, as the parents that we were talking to before the event began, or if your child is in year 11, we can say that there are certain things that the universities are going to be looking for pretty much no matter when they apply, 2 years from now or 10 years from now. I'm going to show you the class of 2023's admission results. This is something that you may have seen advertised through our WeChat or other social media or announcements, but if you haven't seen those, or if you want to dive deeper, today you're going to get a chance to really understand the outcomes that our pupils had, and you are going to be impressed. If you're not impressed, I'll be surprised. And then we'll have an individual pupil interview with the three pupils that I've invited to join us today. You may have seen their names and a little bit about them in the advertisement for this event. I'll introduce them one by one when we get to that part of the event. And then I'll invite them all three on stage at the same time to answer some of those parent-curated questions. Okay? So hopefully this agenda that we have for the next hour and a half is going to be very beneficial for everyone who's present this morning. So let me first introduce you to the team that is here to support your kids in all aspects of the application process, including searching, deciding for what they want to study, what they want to do for a career, and then actually making that application when the time comes. This is me, if you don't recognize. I'm wearing the exact same tie, trying to make myself very recognizable today with the exact same outfit. And then we also have Miss Melody Huang, who joined us last April. Miss Emily Williams, who joined us this past August, the start of this academic year. And Miss Rebecca Young, who also joined us at the beginning of this academic year. So they're all here in the front row. And before you leave today, if you want to come down and say hello to them, and then we'd be on a first name basis, that'd be great. We welcome you to come and meet us if you haven't done so already. So this is the team that we have in the Higher Education and Careers Department, or the HEC Department. If you are ever looking for us, you can find us in the Sixth Form Center. We have offices right around Mr. O'Brien, who's the head of Sixth Form, Mr. McCallum, who's the head of the senior school. If you know that area of the Sixth Form Center, there's a kitchen nearby, where you can't even make one cup of coffee, but you didn't come for the coffee, you came for the advice, and you can find it there. So let me talk to you about the program that we have. We have an HEC curriculum. We have a program of lessons and workshops that we deliver to the pupils so that they know everything that they need to know to go from knowing nothing about university or about careers or about what to study to knowing everything they need to know so that they can make a successful application. The curriculum we have contains lessons and activities and experiences and opportunities for them to get from 0 to 100% knowledgeable and prepared. And how do we deliver that? We deliver in a variety of ways. We do multi-cohort presentations. This year this was very rare because we actually had a lot of time in the class schedule, so we were able to meet with pupils on an individual cohort basis, so year 9, year 10, like that. But sometimes we'll do a presentation for the entire senior school. They will be sitting in the exact same seats where you're sitting now here in the theater. We talk about things like the university fair, or making the most of summer, or these kind of topics that really cover the entire senior school. And then we do lessons and workshops for cohort by cohort. So year 9 has their own special curriculum. Year 10, year 11, year 12, they all have lessons that are tailored to where they are at in the process. And then we also have one-to-one meetings. Now, if you've been at Wellington for longer than 1 year, you might not have known that we do this because until this year, this was something that we only did with pupils starting at the end of year 11. So we met regularly with pupils in year 12 and year 13 because they were in the middle of the application process. They're the ones that have the most need for these one-to-one meetings. But these meetings didn't start until the pupils were transitioning to year 12 from year 11. That was how we did it in the past. And this year we've undertaken to expand those one-to-one meetings down to year 9. So we have endeavored, we have tried this year to have multiple meetings with every pupil in the senior school. This was a big challenge for us. This was a big undertaking because it meant hundreds of additional hours of meetings, writing up notes, communicating with you, the parents. But we did that, and we are happy to do that because we believe that it's necessary for our pupils to have the best preparation. And that's something that we're committed to continuing to the future, but I'm glad to announce that our team is actually meant to expand next year. So right now I've just introduced 4 members of our team, but we are set to be larger next year. And by becoming larger, we're going to be able to offer more of this one-to-one meeting time than we have been this year. So that's something that we're really happy about, and we hope that you will feel very benefited by that in the future as well. And then individualized support. And here I mean, depending on the pupil, we will individualize what support we offer. So for example, some of our pupils, if they are going to be applying to the United States, then we offer an SAT prep program that is just for those pupils who are taking SAT. They don't have to be applying to the U.S. They may be applying somewhere else that will accept the SAT, but typically it's only for the U.S., so typically the pupils who take up that opportunity are U.S. bound or U.S. applicants. But we have other kinds of opportunities like that as well. So our applicants who are applying to Oxbridge, typically they have special tests they need to take, they need to have interview prep. So they get these kind of things when we know that they are those kind of applicants. If we have applicants for medicine, if we have applicants for engineering, if we have applicants for art and design, they all have special opportunities and support that kicks in when we know that about them and we know that they can benefit from that support. So this is the way that we deliver what we do for the pupils to be ready to make their university application when the time comes. Right? This happens from year 9, year 10, year 11. It's happening all through the senior school. And if you're interested, I can share with you later a copy of the curriculum map that shows what lessons are offered in which year groups, so that you can kind of see what topics are being covered and what preparation your kids are receiving at each year. In addition to the curriculum that I just described, we also offer a wide variety of other things to get the kids ready to make these applications. University fair and visits. This is university reps. Pre-COVID, this would have been university reps visiting us in person in large numbers. And then COVID happened. I don't know if you heard about that. We had to go online to a lot of stuff. And now we're shifting back to in-person. So this year we've had in-person visits from a variety of institutions, including several top institutions like University of Chicago, University of Sydney, etc. And our fair has been virtual for the last 3 years, but we are now looking to reinstate the in-person fair next year. So these are some of the ways that our kids have an opportunity to interact with university representatives and learn more about those institutions. We've also tried our best this year to create new internship opportunities. My colleague, Ms. Williams, has been very hard at work trying to make this happen for our pupils, and we've already offered a variety of these internships with more coming this summer. This is a challenging thing for us to do because we push up against the Chinese labor laws, companies' own privacy policies, and other policies about who can be in their facilities, viewing what kind of materials, presenting what kind of meetings, etc. But it's something that we're committed to because we believe a lot of our pupils can benefit if they know what they want to do career-wise, or they know something they want to explore to see whether or not it's what they want to commit to for their university preparation and beyond. Career Talks, again, my colleague Ms. Williams has been instrumental in taking the career talks that we used to do and really raising them to the next level. So last year we had a smattering of these talks that were somewhat well attended, but this year Emily has tried to make them something that the pupils are really excited about by finding the best speakers and offering free pizza. So in doing those two things together, the attendance at our career talks has gone from a handful of students at some talks to dozens and dozens of students at all these talks. Talks from doctors, from financial people, from consulting, from many different areas. And the plan and the intention going forward is to have more of this. And this is one of the areas where you parents can help. Because at the beginning of the year and at later times, I believe, Emily has tried to kind of survey the community in different ways to see who among you might be interested in doing something, either an internship with your company, hosting an internship for some of our pupils, or coming back to campus one day to do a career talk, talking about your journey through your professional life and the industry that you work in. So if that's something that interests you and you hear me say that, you go, oh, I didn't know about that, or I knew about that, but I wasn't convinced. But today, hearing that man talk, I'm convinced. Please don't leave this room before you let us know about your interest, and we would definitely like to talk to you about that. Test prep, I already alluded to the SAT and the Oxbridge test prep that we do, but basically what it is, we offer at the right time of the year, we offer a chance for the pupils to receive this test prep from outside experts. So our SAT prep that I mentioned before is run by our expert trainer, Mr. Chris Roma, and our Oxbridge test preparation is run by an organization called Oxbridge Applications. They are the same organization that our sister institution, the Wellington College in the UK, has been using for many years. So that's the kind of test prep that that's talking about. We have the co-curricular activity program, or CCA program. This is where our kids are involved in things like drama, art, sports, charities, MUN, debate, writing, all kinds of activities that go beyond the classroom, but are the place where they can develop those skills and those attributes that maybe are not as easy to develop in the classroom, like public speaking, for example. So our MUN club, which is a very strong club here at Wellington, is a chance for our pupils to develop those public speaking skills that they may not have quite as much opportunity to do even in their history class or their English class, where the teachers are always trying to create those opportunities, but it's limited, whereas MUN, they give a boost of that. We have a scholar program as well. Hopefully you've heard about this, but you definitely will be hearing more about this in the future. This is a program for our best and brightest academic pupils. Of course, all our pupils are wonderful, but we have a program and a process where we try to identify, support the academically most gifted pupils. And they receive a variety of support from the coordinator of the Academic Scholars Program. This year it was Mr. Sam Lane. Like guest speakers, debates, additional reading, research projects, and the like. If you're interested to learn more about that, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to Mr. Lane and let him tell you more about that. We have our alumni program, which again is something that in years past we had, but this year has taken a big step up. And I want to highlight Miss Melody Huang's efforts in that area, as well as the marketing department that's been doing a lot of different things, initiatives this year, to try and start building up these lifelong connections with our graduates. Because one thing that we have to say about Wellington Shanghai is that we're not an old institution, right? We're graduating, not even yet our 10th graduating cohort, and our early graduating cohorts had only a handful of students. So as we grow and as we have more alumni, now is the time for us to try and take advantage of the fact that our earliest alumni have now graduated from university, and they're either in graduate school or they're starting their careers, and they can be a resource for our current and future applicants to know more about these things, because the graduates now have that experience. And then we also have a variety of software that we use to try and support our pupils in the journey and the process of applying to the university. So if you don't know, for example, we use Teams, Microsoft Teams, very heavily here at school. And all of the kids in the senior school are a member of a special team that's just devoted to higher education and careers. And once they enter into year 12, they have a private channel where all the talk about their personal journey to their final application and university destination is happening with all of the counselors in that private channel. So they're able to really communicate in that way. We also have a software that we've been using called BridgeU. We are actually in the process of switching over to a new service, which you'll hear more about in the future. But that software, whatever it may be, whether it's BridgeU as we've been using or the new one, is a way for the students to explore, pupils to explore all of their university opportunities, career opportunities, and the like. Parents, we have events just for you. And I don't mean today, although today is obviously a big one. But we have, throughout the year, we have a variety of events that are targeted just for you. So I want to tell you about them so that you'll leave knowing, oh, they got all these great things I can join in the future. So we have what we call twilight sessions. Sometimes we spell it differently. But these twilight sessions, they happen in the evening, meant to be timed for when it will be convenient for you, sort of at the end of the workday. And these take place once a month, and they are about a special topic each time that we think you're going to benefit from hearing about. The first one that happens in September is about the entire scope of the higher education program. What is everything that we do to support your pupils? So the introduction that I gave a few minutes ago talked about 10 minutes. This one is about an hour and 10 minutes long, showing you all the pieces and how they fit together to make your kids well prepared for this process. That's the very first talk, and then as we go through the year, we have talks on applying to the United States, applying to the UK, applying to global destinations. That person should definitely answer that phone. Applying to taking tests as part of the application process. This is really focused on the SAT and ACT, which are so important to the US process. How to make the most of the summer vacation that the pupils have every year, and more. So those are the twilight sessions, and you are encouraged to come to each and every one. This year we made a habit of having them both in person and online at the same time. So if you weren't able to get to campus because you're stuck in the office, but you just want to tune in, you are able to do that as well. We have recorded all of those events that we did this year. So if you go, oh, I would love to hear the one about the United States. I didn't get a chance to hear that. I'd love to hear Ms. Williams talk for nearly 2 hours about how great the process is for applying to the United States, how challenging, but also how great. You can watch that recording at any time. In addition, we have, my clicker has died. Parent coffee talks. These also happen once a month. They take place typically 1 or 2 days after the presentation for that month. You can come in and talk about the topic that was talked about earlier that week, or you can talk about anything you want. So I think we just had our most recent comment. Was it last Friday? Oh my gosh, was it last Friday? So we had our most recent coffee talk last Friday, and it happens in the V&A. It's from 8:30 to 10 a.m. on a Friday morning, and basically you just come in, you talk about anything you want. We have free coffee and pastries the same way that we had this morning, and we think it's a great way for you to both meet us, get to know us, and also let us get to know you in a kind of convenient, relaxed environment. We have one-to-one meetings. If you would like to request a one-to-one meeting with a higher education counselor, you can. You can send an email at any time to Ms. Rebecca Young, and she will set you up with a meeting time to talk with one of the counselors. Just to let you know, September, October, November, really busy time for the year 13s because they are in the middle of the process. The success I'm going to talk about in just a minute, that is really happening in those months. When the application, at least for that success, is happening in those months. So not our best time of the year, but this time of the year is very good. Really, any time after Christmas is quite good for us. We would encourage you to make a one-to-one meeting if you are interested to do so. There is a special evening that happens called Options Evening, and this is a chance for you to hear from Mr. O'Brien and from Mr. Kurg about the IGCSE choices that pupils need to make in year 9 for their year 10 and 11 years, and then also the IB choices that pupils need to make in year 11 for their IBDP in 12 and 13. So there's a presentation. It takes like an hour, 30 minutes for IB, 30 minutes for IGCSE, and then after that presentation, our team is available to answer questions that you may have about those choices. And just to let you know, those one-to-one meetings that we have with the pupils, one of those meetings for year 9 and year 11 was specifically about this. So they came in and talked to us all about their choices, and then we wrote down our advice and we sent it to all the parents in year 9 and year 11. So if you are a parent in year 9 or year 11, I certainly hope that you got that. Let me know if you didn't. And then we also have parent-teacher conferences. These are typically for the teachers, the subject teachers. You want to talk about why your kid's grade in chemistry is so high. You want to know, why is my kid so brilliant in chemistry? You want to ask the teacher about that. That night, parent-teacher conferences is really focused on that. But our team is, again, present on those nights. So if you want to come by and talk to us and ask us some questions that are related to your child's university or career exploration process, you're always welcome to do that as well. So these are all the events that are happening for parents on a regular basis. We usually advertise them in a couple of ways. We advertise them through the week ahead, so we would strongly encourage you to always kind of check that out each week because you may see one of our events is coming up. They are on the ISAM's calendar, so if you regularly check the ISAM's calendar, you can see our events are there as well. We ask our friends at Friends of Wellington to help us, so Kat and Jane and Felix have been really helpful in getting the information out about our events through the FOW WeChat channels. And then sometimes we also send emails to parents, like the emails I alluded to just now about the one-to-one meeting summaries that we send out to parents after those IB and IGCSE consultations. Okay, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because this is not what you came for. You came for the results and you came to hear these awesome pupils talk about why they're so awesome. So I'm just going to fly through this section, but if you are interested, I can share this presentation with you later and we can talk at length about what is going to be behind the arrow. So 3 things that universities typically look for. In general, we can't say every child is a unique snowflake and every university and every course is a unique snowflake. So these are very general statements, but they tend to be also very useful for our thinking. So academic or intellectual strengths, personal qualities that the kids have developed, and then additional things about them that the universities may be looking for. So when we talk about academic strength, no surprise, we mean strong academic performance. So this is usually communicated to the university in one of two ways. A transcript, which shows all the grades that they have earned from year 10 through year 13, whenever we transmit that transcript, or predicted grades. When our pupils apply to university, the universities find out about their strong academic performance primarily from one of those two methods. They also want to know about the pupil's passion for the subject that they are applying for or indicating that they may study in the future. And they indicate this in a variety of ways. It could be what they write about in their U.S. essay. It could definitely be what they write about in their personal statement for the UK, Hong Kong, and other destinations. It's seen in their higher level IB choices. They have to choose 3 higher level choices for IB, with the other 3 being standard level. So what did they choose for their higher levels? What did they choose to write their extended essay, or EE, about? What did they choose to do with their extracurriculars? Did they choose to do IB Physics Olympiad, or British Physics Olympiad? Did they choose to do something else that's academically focused? They can see that passion from those choices. Critical thinking and creativity. These are things that we regularly talk about in all aspects of education and society as well. The ability to solve a problem either by finding the one and only solution, or solving a problem by finding new, novel solutions. So these two abilities are two that the universities really value, and they'll look for these, again, in a variety of things in the application process, either from the pupils themselves or from the staff at the institution that they're coming from. Personal qualities, they look for, I'm going to highlight about 5 here. Open-minded and inclusive, because typically the university communities where our pupils go are even more diverse than the community here at Wellington. Not that we're not diverse, we are, but these institutions tend to have even more diverse communities, and people tend to be even more impassioned about their perspective on these important issues of the day or the background that they're coming from. And our pupils need to be ready to work with a variety of people, with a variety of backgrounds, perspectives, opinions, and these kind of things. So this is something that we try to inculcate in the pupils through our values, but also it's something that the university wants to just see that they have, however they've developed it. Also a global perspective, because so many of the challenges that this generation is going to face are global in their scale. The universities are always looking for people that understand how the pupils work in the future, whatever field it may be in, engineering, politics, literature, whatever it may be, can have an impact on a global scale. It can be influenced itself by events from outside. No surprise that leadership and initiative are something that universities are often looking for. I'm thinking particularly about the U.S. Leadership here meaning to lead others in an activity. Initiative meaning to start something new, to look around the community and find something which does not exist and create it. Collaborative, because like I was talking about, the problems that this generation faces are global in scale. They're also going to require people to collaborate, and not just collaborate in groups trained in the same way. So all us chemists need to get together, but the chemist's work needs to be communicated to society at large, and that takes writers and poets and songwriters. So being able to collaborate across curriculum areas. And last, a desire to help others. This is something that universities see themselves doing. They are servants of society by preparing the next generation of responsible citizens to tackle that generation's problems. They want to see themselves as change makers through their graduates. So those people who already demonstrated a desire to do this can have a leg up. Last, additional factors, other things that the pupils can come with. They can contribute their skills outside the classroom, be these artistic, athletic, or other. You're going to hear about 2 of those, all of those, today. Add diversity to the community. As I mentioned, they are very diverse institutions where our pupils typically go. They are always looking to add more diversity. And diversity doesn't just mean ethnicity or passport. It also means perspective. It also means background of all kinds. And then their potential for future impact. Is this pupil a future Nobel Prize winner? Is this pupil's idea that they wrote about in their essay going to upend the industry that they intend to enter when they are working professional? Are they going to be the next Elon Musk, but good? Actually, I'm sure he is good. Class of 2023. 24% of our graduates this year have been accepted to a top 10 ranked university. You can see the little box on the side. I'm using the QS 2023 rankings for this. So if we used Times Higher Education or if we used another set of rankings, maybe these numbers will be different. But this is the set that we as an institution use, so that's what I'm going to tell you about. So 1/4 of all of our pupils have been admitted to a top 10 in the world, not just in the UK, not just in the US, in the world, institution. 30% of them have been admitted to a top 20. And 73% of them have been admitted to a top 50. So when I say these numbers, just to be clear, what am I talking about? This is what we call best offer. This means if I've got a pupil that is admitted to a top 10 and a top 20, I count him as having a top 10, right? And it's just wherever his best offer is or her best offer is, that's where the statistic is generated from. So we're not like using a couple of superstar pupils to juice these statistics. These are how many of our pupils landed in these categories. Where are we talking about? Because you may not be familiar with the rankings. So I want to show you the names of the schools and I'll show you the category in which they are. You'll recognize a lot of these names. Hopefully you recognize the English name. Turn to your neighbor. If you don't recognize the English name, they will know it. Cambridge, ranked number 2 in the world. We have the people admitted this year for mathematics. Oxford, ranked number 4 in the world. We have the people admitted this year for chemistry. You don't have to wait very long to hear from him. California Institute of Technology, also called Caltech, number 6 in the world. You don't have to wait long to hear from 2 of them, because that little asterisk on the side means that we had multiple pupils admitted to one of these institutions. So in this case, Caltech, we had multiple offers. Imperial College London, or just Imperial, and University College London, or UCL. I'm going to go on now, but these are all in the top 10, as you can see. You can see their ranking. The next group is going to be from 11 to 20. Peking University here at home. For medicine, University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League institution, Trump's alma mater, don't hold that against them. University of Edinburgh, Cornell University, Ivy League. For those, I'm not sure he knows which schools are in the Ivy League or not, so that's why I'm indicating that. So these are all schools in the top 20, or 11 to 20. And then in the top 50, a lot of names that you will recognize as well. University of Hong Kong, multiple offers to Hong Kong. I'll talk more about this. University of Michigan, University of California, Berkeley, one of their campuses. Manchester, McGill in Canada, Northwestern, King's College London, or KCL, or King's, New York University, or NYU. We had pupils admitted to both the NYC campus and Shanghai. I'll talk more about NYU in a second. Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, or HKUST. University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA, another one of the University of California campuses along with Berkeley. Shanghai Jiao Tong University. And University of British Columbia, or UBC. All right, I want to just do a little bit of a deep dive on a couple of these universities to give you a better sense for what we're talking about when we talk about how the high level of success that these kids had as a group, not as necessarily as individuals. So, University College London that I just mentioned, it is ranked number 8 in the world. Number 8. We had 8 pupils receive an offer to go there out of 13 who applied. So that's an admission rate of basically 2/3. So if you applied to the number 8 institution in the world this year from Wellington, you had a 2 in 3 chance to receive an offer from just that one institution. So that's a really amazing result for us. Last year we had also very good success at UCL. We had 8 offers from 17 applications. So that's a lower percentage, but it's the same number of offers. What I want to just highlight really quickly is that this year, why did we have 13 applications and not 17? We actually had more applications to UCL this year, but they were withdrawn by the pupils when they got admitted early decision in the U.S. to a school that they indicated was their first choice. So when that happened, they had to withdraw their application from UCL. That means it is likely, in my mind likely, that the number this year would have been higher if we had had all those applications go forward. So it would have been maybe 10 out of 16 or 12 out of 17 rather than just 8 out of 13. So that's I propose that. I believe that. Let's look at another school, King's College London. It's ranked number 37. It's a very, very popular university with our pupils because it's in London. It has a great name recognition. It's a great institution, some very high-ranked courses. We had 10 out of 12 of our pupils who applied there to receive an offer. That's an admit rate of 83%. That means if you made an application there from Wellington, Shanghai this year, you had a 4 in 5 chance of being accepted. So that's a very, very great outcome. Last year, slightly higher. So I only show you that because it's not the best looking statistic. Oh, it kind of went down this year. The only reason I show you that is to show you that 2 years on, it's been very, very high. So there's always going to be fluctuations. UCL this year, our admit rate is higher. This year, King's is a little bit lower, but it's not that much lower, and it's still very, very high. Let's look at NYU, which many of you are familiar with because they just opened their new campus here in Shintan, like 10 minutes walk from here. And I know that because we walked there the other day to have a tour. It's ranked number 39 in the world, very well known for some of its majors. We had 7 out of 9 pupils admitted there this year. That's a 78% admit rate. Ms. Williams can check me on this. Probably their admit rate overall right now is 10%, around that. It should be around that number. So our admit rate for NYU generally is very high. But when our pupils decide that that is their top choice and they apply ED, early decision, which is a binding agreement, if you accept me, I will go to your institution. We had a 100% admit rate this year. 4 pupils made that decision to apply their early decision, and all 4 were accepted to go there. So that's a fantastic result for those pupils who've decided that NYU is the place that they want to be next year. Let's look at University of Hong Kong. It's ranked number 21. Very, very high rank for this school. We made 4 applications this year. All of our pupils were accepted there this year. One of our pupils was accepted there with an IB predicted score of 35 points. Now, I only mention this because our school average last year was 39.1. That's our average. That means that half our students had a higher average than 39, half lower than 39.1. 35 is on the lower side of our average. And even that pupil had an outcome top 21 in the world institution. That speaks to the strength of the applicant. That also speaks to the strength of Wellington, Shanghai. That the institutions like HKU, they know the quality of the people that we're sending them. We also had fantastic art and design outcomes, performing arts schools like Baldwin Wallace, NYU that I've already mentioned, but specifically their Tisch School of Arts, and Berkeley College of Music from music, obviously. It's right there in the title. And for visual arts schools, places like Maryland Institute College of Art, MICA, Pratt School of Visual Art, or SVA, Parsons, and School of the Art Institute of Chicago, or SAIC. Okay, so I'll leave that there. So I've talked longer than I intended to, which means you're going to hear a little bit less from the pupils maybe than I intended to, because we get kicked out at 12. I'm sorry. But let's get them out here now.